right? As I did before. If you haven't watched that, the first video, I advise you to go watch that. And, we just gonna continue because, it is a lot of wickedness that goes on within our nation. But the main thing, the whole point of that video, right, is to show brothers and sisters that back in the ancient world, back in times past, you had wicked men, right? You had wicked men. You always had rebellious men, right? And, when I mean rebellious men, I mean they are rebellious to the order of the Most High, right? The law, statutes, and commandments, right? Always doing their own thing. That's what I mean by rebellion. That's no different from today. Just because a brother might say shalom to you, or might wear a garment, mighty garment, or fringes, they have to be proved, man. Right? Let me get that in Sirach. Right? So don't just look. Here, I'm gonna get two precepts. Don't just look on the outward appearance, because they might have the mightiest garment on, right? Or, example for me, just because I'm up here teaching this Bible, don't just take my word for it, man. Go into these scriptures and actually study, man. Right? Study for yourself. Don't just believe what man say all the time. You got to make sure the scriptures backs up everything and every claim. Right? So this is Sirach. Right? If you don't know what Sirach is, it's in the book. It's an apocrypha, right? But I use the KJV 1611. Or what's left of it. Right? This is the book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. Right? So when you get a friend, right, when you get a brother, you have to prove his spirit. Right? Let's say that in 1 John 4:1. Let's bring that up. Right? You have to prove the spirits, man. Right? Just because they might know the scriptures, they might, know breakdowns. Right? They might look and appear as a righteous man. Right? That does not mean anything. You still have to try the spirit. Right? This is 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of the Most High, because many false prophets are going out into the world. Many false prophets, many false brethren, many wicked men have gone out into the world, right? And they are deceived. That's why I brought out 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 13, right? Last video, evil men wax worse and worse, being seducers and being seduced, right? And seducing other men to go off. So, it's a lot of wickedness that goes on within our nation, right? And then, when men that stand up for the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and right, when we stand up for what the righteousness is, which is of the law, right, we get hated, we get persecuted, we get, put below. And that's okay. That's the same way they did Yahushua. All right? So there's a lot of wickedness, a lot of madness that's going on within the Israelite community, So it's not, and you got some some wicked doctrine within Israel, but for the most part, brothers out there on the streets, man, they are on point when it comes to the scriptures. It's how they move, man. Right? I'm getting on their deeds, their actions, right? So Sirach 6 and 7 said, prove. Right? Prove a friend. Why you got to prove a friend? Because look at, and a perfect example was King David and Saul. King David and Saul, King David looked up to Saul, right? So Saul gave King David his daughter, right? He presented himself as a righteous man. He presented himself as a brother, right? The whole time he wanted to unalive King David, right? Let's get an example of that. Let's get 1 Samuel. Right? And before we get 1 Samuel, I'm going to read this again. This is a lot of meat on that bone still. Right? Verse 7. If thou wouldest, Sirach 6 and 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not happy to credit him. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, right? You got people, you got men that be your friend for their own gain, right? Their own occasion, to try to use you and suck you dry, man, right? No pun intended, man. No, right? Let's not deal with folly, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble, right? So he there for occasion, right? And then when trouble comes, man, right, you really fall on your ass and you really fall down. Excuse my language. They know where to be found, man. Right? Verse 9, and there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. Right? So you got a friend that move with enmity and with strife, right? They will discover your reproach. Right? And again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of affliction, right? They there when you eating, right? They there when things is going right, right? And you flourishing, right? As soon as the food stop coming, right? They know where to be found. They disappear on you, right? But in thy prosperity, he will be as thyself, and will be bowed over thy servants, right? And if thou be brought low, he will be against thee and will hide himself from thy face. Separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed to thy friends, right? Your real friends, man, right? Let's go to 1 Samuel. All right. And what did King David do? King David separated from Saul, right? He avoided Saul because he knew Saul was trying to kill him, right? He took heed to his friend, and right, who was King David's true friend? Jonathan, right? Saul's son. Right. So let's get 1 Samuel chapter 19. Bear with me. 1 Samuel chapter 19 and verse number 10, right? 1 Samuel 19 and 10. And Saul sought to smite David, even to the wall with the javelin, but he swept away out of Saul's presence, and he smote the javelin into the wall, and David fled and escaped that night, right? So King David was fleeing from Saul, right? King David could have easily fought back, right? He fled from Saul. Saul tried to take his life, right? Why? Because of envy, right? Let's get because he knew that King David was next to be king, right? Because the Most High rejected Saul. All right, let's get this quick precept. All right, this book of Proverbs, chapter 27 and verse 4, it say, wrath is cruel and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? Right? Who is able to stand before envy? Right? That's some of the worst things you can deal with. Somebody envying you, right? Somebody's trying to be like you. He's looking at your every step, trying to mimic you. Right, he's willing to take you out, right, to take your place, man, right, and that's what a lot of Israelites do, man. They envy, right, envy one another, right. They fight over ranks that they put on themselves, right, not of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, right, making themselves deacons, making themselves captains, making themselves vineyards. These are titles, these are flattery titles that they put upon themselves, and right, and other men envy them for them same titles they put upon themselves. So that's why there's a lot of bickering, a lot of fighting, there's a lot of issues going on in camps, man, because they constantly fighting over ranks, man, that the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua did not give them. Right, and just because, and now you made yourself a captain, you made yourself a vanguard officer, and all these different type of ranks, man. You think you better than your brother, man, right? You making your brother a soldier, right? And you up here, and he's down here, right? And you think you better than him, man. You trying to tell somebody what to do while y'all both in captivity, man. That's the problem that I got with camps, man. You know, you trying to rule over brothers in captivity, man. You know. trying to rule over brothers in captivity. Our leader is Yahweh Shah, right? Hamashiach Yahweh Shah. That's our leader. That's who's going to rule over me, man, right? That's my head, you know? And then you got men talking about, that's a rebellious brother. This brother, I don't, it's not about not taking orders, right? I'll take any order, as long as it's according to the law, statute, commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. Now, once it starts stooping out from that, and it start being of your own wicked imagination, then that's when we got a problem, And you willing to persecute me because I don't want to do something that's not a sin, right? It's just not going to go that way, right? So you got brothers trying to rule over brothers in captivity, right? That's madness, Who gave you the authority to tell me what to do, man? Yahweh Shai ain't give you that authority, right? The elect ain't been sealed yet, And then it's the fear mongering, right? You fear brothers to do these things, right? And then if they don't do these things, you tell these brothers they're going to be put to death by the Most High. If they don't do what you say, they're going to be put to death by the Most High, right? I was told that, and I forgive the brothers, but that's what it is, right? Verse 11, and Saul also sent messengers into David's house to watch him and to slay him, right? In the morning, and Michal, David's wife, told him, saying, if thou save not thy life tonight, tomorrow thou shalt be slain. Right? So King David sent messengers, right? Spies to King David's house, man, to try to kill him. Right? You know how much envy gotta happen, man, for that to happen? Trying to kill this brother literally for no reason, right? Because the Most High, he disobeyed the Most High, and the Most High rejected him, man. Right? That's how crazy it is, man. Right? So going back to what, these dealing with these wicked brothers, man. And I'm gonna put out this disclaimer again. These men are not perfect, man, right? These men are not perfect, right? These men are not perfect by any means. They're going to go off. They're going to have flaws, just like I got flaws. I got issues that I got to work on, right? I got to work on my anger. I got hypertension, right? But is that an excuse for me to be angry? No, I got something I got to work on. So I love these brothers, man. And open rebuke is better than secret love. And like I said before, it's not about taking orders. It's not about telling brothers what to do or giving them an order to do this and do that for the congregation. It's when you start trying to rule over brothers, right? And a brother might not want to do a particular thing at that very moment, and you have a problem with it. So you can't let these ranks go to your head, man. You cannot let a status that's been talked about among the congregation that's not of the Most High, and you start getting your heart started to get above your brethren, man, right? So I want to put a disclaimer out there. It's not an attack on camps, right? Swordsman Yahweh Shai is a camp, right? We got to do better, man, when it comes to order of the law, statutes, and commandments. We got to be better brothers. We got to be better brothers. That's to the brothers in the camps, right? That's to me. That's to the brothers in my camp, right? We got to be better brothers. Right? Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is not playing with us, man. He's not playing with us. If you don't treat your brother accordingly, you're going to get it. If you offended a brother, right? If you offend your brother, right? Let him know. Right? Talk to him like, hey, if I offended you, brother, Salakia, I ain't mean to offend you. Right? Talk it out. Even if it might take some time. It might take some time for a brother to hit you up or a brother to get back to you. He's trying to get himself together, man. Right? So we got to be better brothers, man. And a congregation should not change that. Just because a brother is not in your camp and congregation, right, don't mean that he still can't be your brother. That mean he still can't come around. That mean he still can't keep the law, statutes, and commandments with you, man. Right? And I do applaud the camps that do allow brothers that's not in their camps to come keep the feast days, man. Right? You shouldn't have to be in the camp to congregate with brothers, man. Right? So it's not an attack on camps, right? It's not an attack. You know, this is a correction, man. This is a rebuke, right? Let's get Deuteronomy. All right? If it starts becoming a sin, right? Let's get Deuteronomy. Right? Proverbs 27:5 said, "Open rebuke is better than secret love." All right, let's get Deuteronomy 17 and Deuteronomy 17 and 19. Right, this dealing with a king of Israel. Right, but we all call ourselves kings. Right, we all call ourselves Shalom King. Right, this can apply to us. Right, because we're supposed to be teaching the sheep. Right, we're supposed to be a righteous example. We're supposed to be teaching the brothers and sisters in the world, especially the brothers, on how real brotherhood needs to be. Right? We're not doing that. We're failing in that department. You know? We're supposed to be a light to our brothers and sisters. Right? Congregating, doing events with one another. Right? Making amends, apologizing when we do wrong. Right? Reconcile brothers back to brothers, checking on brothers. You know, brother can be catching hell, man. Right? You might call him on the phone and he don't answer. He probably want to talk at that very moment. Right? Damn, I'm gonna have to pull up on the brother. I'm gonna have to go over there and check on the brother. Brother might be really going through it, man. Because brothers really going through it, right? Brothers really going through it in this captivity. And sometimes a phone call is not enough, man. I'm going to be honest. Sometimes a phone call, it can help, but it's not enough. Right? Sometimes you got to pull up on your brother and see what's going on. See where his head at. Right? This Deuteronomy 17:19. And it should be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear Yahweh his power, to keep all the words of this law and these statutes to do them, that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not abide from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children in the midst of Israel, right? So the Most High gave a commandment to the king, right? The king of Israel, that he had to learn the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Even the king of Israel, his heart cannot be above his brother. Even though he's the ruler over all the kingdom, right? His heart cannot be above his brother. He cannot say, I'm better than you, right? I'm above you just because I'm the king, right? You got to treat your brother and love your brother the way you want to be treated, man, according to the law, statutes, and commandments. We have not been doing that, man. It's an argument over doctrine every day, a debate, right? I don't want to mess with this nigga because he don't teach the same thing I teach, right? It makes us look stupid, man. Like stupid children. That's why I brought out Jeremiah 44 and 22. It makes us look like children, man. Right? Or I want to talk to that brother because I want to talk to them brothers in that camp because they believe the mark of the beast is spiritual, right? Or I want to talk to the brothers in that camp because they believe the mark of the beast is the RFID chip, right? Oh, that camp believes the mark of the beast is sin, right? Or that camp, it's madness, man. What did the Most High say? Fear God, keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Our thing is our whole purpose is to fear the Most High and keep his commandments. That's the whole duty of man. Not argue about stuff that when Yahweh shall come back, he's going to correct. You know? I never hate my brother or do my brother a certain type of way because he might not see what I see in the scriptures. He probably it's probably not meant for him to get it, man. Get it at that very present time, right? But the point is, Yahweh Shah is going to correct us, man. At the end of the day, He's going to correct us. He's going to be set us straight. That's the whole reason why we need the new covenant. That's the whole reason why the laws had to be written in our inward part, right? So that we can be perfect, so that we can understand what we have to do as not only men in the Lord, but as a nation. That's the whole reason why the Most High has to renew His Spirit within us, man. That was the whole point of the new covenant, man. So right now we're going off faith, right? They say that his heart be not above his brethren. Who the hell are we, man? We nobody. We dust. We earth and ashes, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Sirach. All right, this is Sirach chapter 10 verse 9. They say, why is earth and ashes proud? There is none, not more a wicked thing than a covetous man, right? The envy, the strife, right? Coveting after a brother might know have more understanding than you, right? He might have more understanding than you, might be on a higher level than you, right? And you envy that brother. You don't like that brother because he know a little bit more than you, right? Or he might have a mightier spirit than you. You know? For such as in one set of his own soul to sell, because while he liveth, he cast away his bowels. Right? So why is we proud, man? We nothing but dust and ashes. You know? Each time when I break down the word, and brothers will be around me can attest to me, man. The first thing I tell a brother that's trying to inquire about the truth, I tell him, I keep it real with him. I said, I might have my friend his own, might have my garment, right? I might be out here teaching the words of the Lord, right? It's the only reason I'm able to teach the word of the Lord is because the Most High gave me the ability to do that, right? I don't know a damn thing without the Most High, right? Without Yahweh Bashim Yahushua giving me the understanding of this book, I don't know a damn thing. And I don't think I know a damn thing because I know precepts and I know breakdowns. But at the end of the day, if I don't love my brother, it means absolutely nothing. This is a waste. I become an unprofitable servant, man. Not only I become a profitable servant, I become unprofitable to myself, right? The scriptures say there's a man that teaches many, yet it is unprofitable to himself. Without Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, without the Lord, I am nothing but shit, man. And the same for the rest of these brothers. I don't know a damn thing without the Lord. The Lord can just take it, and I'm just doing whatever now. And I pray that don't happen to me. I pray that don't happen to the brothers. We gotta get this shit together, man. Right? Or the ones that we call in the 2/3, we gonna be right with them. If we don't love our brother. Right? You can know all the breakdowns and deep understanding. But if you don't treat your brother right, you're going to perish, man. Right? Let's get we're going on Sirach 17. And let's see. I'm gonna start Sirach 17:30. For all things cannot be in man, because ye sons of man is not immortal, right? We just regular men, right? We gods, but that's why I say ye are gods with a lowercase g, right? It's the reason why it's a lowercase g there. But ye shall die like men, right? Because we're not immortal. What is brighter than the sun? Yet the light thereof faileth. Right? Even the sun, as bright as it is, it still fails, right? Because at the end of the day, it gets dark outside, right? And flesh and blood will imagine evil, right? We have evil tuitions, evil thoughts. This flesh, this takes over our body, man. Right? That's why we need to constantly correct ourselves, man. Right? And it say verse 32, he vieweth the power of the height of heaven, and right, the Most High is viewing all the height of heaven, right? And all men are but earth and ashes, right? What did King David say in Psalms chapter 39, verse 5? Right? He said, all men in its best estate are altogether vanity, man. Right? In our best estate, we are vanity. Right? Read it again. Sirach 17:32. He vieweth the power of the height of heaven, and all men are but earth and ashes. Right? We ain't nothing, man. Right? I believe that's Isaiah 64 and verse 6, right? Our righteousness is as filthy rags. Right? No matter how much we do, no matter how much work we put in, right, we still need Yahweh Shah. Right? We need Yahweh Shah bad, man. But why brothers doing these things? This is why brothers doing these things. This is why. Right? We're going to get Proverbs 30. Proverbs chapter 30 and verse number 12. It say, there is a generation that is pure in their own eyes, and yet is not washed from their filthiness. Right? We're that generation. Right? Brothers being wise in their own eyes, thinking they're righteous men. We ain't shit, man. We ain't nothing in the eyes of the Lord. Right? Let's get the one I really wanted to get. And excuse my language, Israel, but it has to be brought out this way, because it can't come all the time all nice, you know. So let's get Judges. This is why these brothers be doing these things, right? This Judges 21:25. They say, in those days there were no king in Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes. Right? So right now, Yahweh Shah is not physically here, right, to set things in order. Right? So men are doing whatever right in their own eyes, right? And what's that? And where does that go with? Let's get Proverbs 16:25. Right? Proverbs 16:25. It say, there is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Right? There's a way that seemeth right to a man. Right? But the end thereof, there is the ways of death. Right? Why? This is why. Because you ain't apply this. Right? It's the book of Proverbs chapter 3 and verse number 5. It say, trust in Yahweh with all thy heart, and lean not into thy own understanding. Right? A lot of you brothers lean into your own understanding. In all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Right? Call Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right? It's all about him, man. Right? Him and his son. Right? We're supposed to be glorifying the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua throughout the whole earth. It's not about us, man. The second that you start thinking it's about you, that's when you're going wrong, man. That's when your heart depart from the Lord, right? Which is pride, man. Right? Let's bring that out. Right? And you see how the spirit, right? I ain't even bring out my lesson that I wanted to I had written down, because I'm going off the spirit. Right? All glory to the Most High. Right? This is Sirach chapter 10, verse 12. It said the beginning of pride is when one departed from Yahweh and his heart is turned away from his maker, right? And how your heart get turned away from your maker? Breaking the laws of the Most High God, right? Because what did Isaiah say? All right, we go get Jeremiah. Let's go back to Jeremiah, and then we go get Isaiah, right? And I brought this out yesterday. This is why the spirit can have you moving in different ways, man. Right? Right? Call on y'all about Shem Shah, right? This is Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 25. It say, your iniquities have turned away these things, and your sins have withholden good things from you. For among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait as he that set of snares and they set a trap and catch men, right? So our sins have withhold good things from us, withhold the kingdom of heaven from us, man, right? Immortality, right? Peace, harmony, rulership. Our sins have withholding these things from us, man, right? Because our heart has turned away from the Most High. That's what pride is, man, right? Let's get Isaiah, right? I'm going to get Isaiah and I'm going to close out. And Lord willing, I'll be back with a part 3, right? It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 59, right? In verse number 2, it say, but your iniquities have separated between you and your God, and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear, right? For your hands are defiled with blood, and your fingers with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies. Your tongue have muttered perverseness, right? So that's how one is in pride. Pride is when you depart from your maker, man. Turn your heart away from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, right? How you do that? By sin. That's why I say pride. Let's bring it out, man. Right? That's why you really got to get in the scriptures, man. So you'll understand, right? So when you being passionate, right? Brothers and damn, that's a prideful brother. No, pride is going away and turning your heart away from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. That's what pride is. All right, let's go back to Sirach 10 chapter. We're going to close out. All right, Sirach chapter 10 and verse number 7, right? It say, pride is hateful before Yahweh and man, and by both do one commit iniquity, right? What's iniquity, right? It's dealing with sin, man, right? What is sin? The transgressions of the laws of the Most High God, man, right? So you are in pride when you start breaking the law, statutes, and commandments, right? And you no longer repenting, right? Verse 12 again, we're going to end it off with verse 12, right? Sirach 10 and 12, once again, from the top. The beginning of pride is when one departeth from Yahweh and his heart is turned away from his maker, right? For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it shall pour out abomination, and therefore the Lord brought upon the strange calamity and overthrow them utterly, right? So pride is when you depart from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua and his law, statutes, and commandments, man. It's that simple, man, right? So we got to stop dealing in pride and stop going away from what Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua told us to do, and stop adding in extra stuff, man. All right, that's not according to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And that's what the Pharisees was doing, right? Making up their own traditions, man. Right, so we got to get back to what Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua say, and do what he wants us to do, not what we want to do, what he wants us to do. All right, and come back into brotherly love, man. Right, let brotherly love continue. Right, the Most High love, and it said, as to say, Sirach 25, I believe 25 and 1. Right, the unity of brethren. Right, the Most High love to see that, man. He love to see the unity of brethren. Yahweh Shai love to see the unity of brethren. Right, let's get to that. Right. Your breakdowns and your deep breakdowns and all that means nothing if you don't got brotherhood, man. Right? So I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, B'Shem, Yahushua, B'Shem, B'Kakadash, Shalom.